I wanted to show how to cut a card base. And when I say card base, I mean, so let's take this card. I'm talking this white layer here. And I'll also show you how to get your different layers. Okay, so if I was just cutting one card, then if this is the paper trimmer from Stampin' Up, and there's a cutting blade, which is the dark one, and a scoring blade, which is the light one. And you can push the dark out of the way and do the scoring, and you can push the other one out of the way at the bottom. And you can put them in whichever order. This is just what I have. So first, if I was to cut the whole thing, or if I wanted to get 2 cards, I would go ahead and score first at 4 1/4. Actually, let me just go ahead and show you that. So I'm going to score the whole thing. And it's hard to tell because I picked black, sorry for that. And then you turn it and go to 5 1/2. Now, this paper trimmer comes with centimeter markings at the top, and sometimes I would like accidentally look at those instead of inches. And as an American, I'm used to inches, so I used washi tape to cover those centimeters. And this comes out to get a longer strip, and I covered those. And I got that tip from Connie Stewart, and it's been very helpful for me. So anyway, I then will come over to the 5 1/2 mark, and I use the other blade to cut it in half. And then I get 2 card bases that are scored for me. So that's how you can cut 2 at once on your paper cutter. If you want to just cut 1, then you would come in and just go right to the 5 1/2 mark, which, so you have your 5, and it's the 2 longer lines over. Every little line is a 16th, so 2 is an 1/8. Anyway, you just go right over to your 5 1/2. You cut it first and then score. Now, some people don't score, they just fold in half and maybe use a bone folder. I like to have a score line. So that is how I get my card base. Now, if I'm cutting cards for a class and I have to do a bunch, then I will get out my larger, what is this called? Simply Scored tool. And let's see if I have more paper down here. Oh, and I should probably show you the other side. But I will take this and I will put it in here just because this is faster. I don't have to open. And I have my little marker set at 4 1/4. These are just, you can put them wherever you want. They come, and I colored them different colors for when I need different colors to help me know what I'm doing. But anyway, you just score down 4 1/4 like that. And then I would just take my next page and do it and cut it. And I would score a bunch at once and then go and cut them. You can cut 2 sheets of cardstock at once on the Stampin' Up paper trimmer, but I usually just do one. Depends. If it's DSP, I'll do more than one. So there's those 2 card bases. Now, if you want your card to fold a different way, then you, like, say you want it to open the other direction, then you just do the opposite. You score at 5 1/2. And then again, you want to make sure you have the right blade. So I'm pushing that blade out of the way. I'm going to come up with my scoring blade, and then you flip and go to 4 1/4, and you cut. And then you have 2 cards that open this direction. And I even see people stamp them this way and open them like that, but that's how you get that. So the measurements to remember are 5 1/2 and 4 1/4. Now let's talk about layers. If you're trying to make layers on a card, so let's say I had this as my base and I want this next layer to be in my Grapefruit Grove. You're going to cut it 1/4 of an inch smaller. If you like this layered look, that's going to give you an 1/8 inch layer all around. So you would take your thing, this was 4 1/4 wide. So now I'm going to go to the 4 mark and cut that off. And then this other direction is 5 1/2. So now I'm going to go to 5 1/4 and cut that off. And I get that layer. And you see it gives me a nice 1/8 inch edge all around. And then if I want to do another layer like I have here, let's take another white layer. I'm just going to cut off one of these I already did. I will go 1/4 inch smaller. So that was 5 1/4. So now I'm going to go to 5 inches. And then go to 3 3/4 because this one was 4 inches this direction. So now I'm going 3 3/4 inches. And then I get my little layers that are all perfectly 1/8 inch apart. Now let's say I don't want that much of the orange color showing. I want a skinnier layer. Well, then you just cut it. You would cut an 1/8 inch difference instead of a 1/4 all around. So this right now, this whole sheet is a 1/4 inch wider and taller. So I'm gonna just cut off an 1/8. I'm trying to think of the best way to say that. So let's say if this is 3 3/4 inches wide and I want just a very narrow mat around it, I would go to the 1/8 mark, which is 2/16 over. So now instead of 3 3/4, I'm going to go to 3 7/8. And instead of, this was 5 inches wide. No, was it? I forgot already. Yeah, 5 inches wide. So I'll cut this, I'll go 5 1/8, which is those 2/16 over. And now I have just a very narrow mat. Sometimes you may not want as much color to show. It just depends on the card. And then you could layer that on here if you want like a bigger edge around. So that's how you get your layers.